So you don't think Marvel Rivals is going to be a better Overwatch?
No, I think it'll maintain a similar player base, but the problem that I have is that a lot of the problems with that people have with Overwatch 2 is a lot of it comes down to it feeling like, from what I hear, like really, really competitive and a lot of toxicity, stuff like that. Very
Well, that's just
League of
internet in
Legends
general.
type stuff. I mean, yeah. I just have a feeling that like the same problems are going to plague over the Marvel Rivals 2 because they are going to want a competitive scene, right?
Well, yeah, I assume so.
And not having things like classes and stuff like that, the sort of things that Overwatch 2 has in it that people don't like, I guess. They're going to have to eventually put into Marvel Rivals in order to break into that esports scene, I think. I mean, if they can get away without doing that, that'd be awesome, but it all depends on how they want to tackle, balancing and stuff like that, because a lot of just weapon changes and balances and small changes like that too is ultimately what led to the, I want to call it the decline, because because Helldivers 2 is still a very popular video game, but a lot of people in that community have also been bitching about like how certain weapons.
Helldivers is a PVE game, isn't it?
I know, but it's the same general principle.
Yeah,
Every game
I get
has.
what you're saying.
On this very podcast a few weeks ago, I was talking about balance problems that Dead by Daylight has.
Like, I can understand, like, balancing in multiplayer games. Obviously, if one thing's more powerful than the others, you want to try and balance it out as much as possible when you're playing against other people. Yeah. But in, like, a PvE setting, I've never understood the point of nerfing stuff or whatever. Like, if you're not playing against other people, who cares?
Like, why does it?
Why does it matter? It's okay, I get you probably want people to, like, maybe you, like, have this new build or something like that, or like you want people to explore more things than just that. It's like what's the good stuff or whatever. It's like, well, buff the bad stuff then, and don't nerf the good stuff. It's I don't know. I was like, for as much as I haven't really played Diablo 4 in a very long time now, but it's like they only nerfed one. They nerfed the ball lightning build because it was so. Or no, not ball lightning. It was lightning spear for sorcerer because it was so incredibly strong, and they realized we may have made this a little bit too powerful. And it was just like, okay, yeah, if sorcerers are literally if the only way to get to late game builds is through this broken build, then yeah, it's. I would say that's like the one exception you could say to nerf it in a PvE setting. But other than that, I've never understood it.
I mean, no, you're right. In terms of PvE games, I completely agree. I really don't understand what the community and economy is around like Helldivers 2 because I'm not an active part of that community. So maybe it's just things that I don't understand. Repetitive missions is also a complaint I hear from Helldivers people, but.
Well, when is that not a thing in those types of games?
No, let's be honest. Like, that's going to be the case with basically every multiplayer game. Like, it's going to be really hard to keep anything from like Helldivers to Overwatch to fucking Dead by Daylight from feeling repetitive and samey the more and more you play it. That's why I saw a discussion on things on our Dead by Daylight where it's like it's good to take breaks because. If you're not feeling a game being like, this sucks, I don't want to do this anymore, don't play the game anymore. It's really as simple as that. It's perfectly fine to not play even like your live service game for a little while and just come back to it later because there are so many other games you could be playing.
It's always the thing with live service games, though, is that if you take a break from it, you fall behind and everything, and then it's just like, I guess you get like the idea of like, what, FOMO or whatever. It's just like
FOMO is the big issue,
and it's just like, I don't know, man. It's like if you're not enjoying the game, then don't fucking play it.
Yeah. The one thing I do want to give credit to Marvel Rivals though is that they picked up. I cannot say if Overwatch 2 does this because I have not played it. They picked up probably the best aspect of Halo Infinite's Battle Pass in that it's, it's there forever, right? So like more and more Battle Passes are going to come out.
God, that needs
but
to be a thing in more games.
Yeah, but Battle Passes just aren't going to expire. The reason with like that too is I just don't understand why it wouldn't be a thing in every game, because when you do that, can't you just make more money? Because more and more people are just going to want to get different battle passes.
I mean, you'd think so, but it's like I guess the idea is depending on what you do with like I don't know the cosmetics or stuff or whatever that's in that or whatever. Like I know for some games what they end up doing if there's like an in-game shop or whatever, it's like you bring them up as like limited time things or whatever that people could buy via in-game currency or money or whatever just in the shop like later on. But I don't know.
I suppose that.
I don't know. I don't play
fair.
enough of those games to know.
No, that's how Dead by Daylight does it anyway. If there's something that you don't get in a certain battle pass, they'll usually try to just sell it to you later.
Yeah.
I'm almost okay with their battle passes because progression is usually pretty quick. I can get through like more than half of it in a single week if I play just a few hours every day, and it lasts for 3 months. But that is something that I wish every game would just kind of pick up because it just seems like the healthiest thing to do for players. I did hear that the grind can be pretty real for Marvel Rivals Battle Pass, but that all really depends on how much you value things like skins and like emotes and shit in games like this.
Yeah, that's
like
that's how most battle passes are. It's like, oh,
yeah.
I'll play the more you want a skin, the more you're gonna want to play it. The AK, you're gonna move through the battle pass faster.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't really care for it anyway, then you're probably just gonna be like, I mean, I don't really care, so.
Store skins, from what I saw, they may have changed since beta, but they're also pretty expensive. I think like a single character skin is like $15, almost $20 in the in-game shop, which is
that's the like League of Legends like model like scaling when it comes to like that would be the average price of like a normal skin for a champion.
That I don't like that either.
Oh, I don't either, but that's just how it's been for forever.
I mean, like, if you do look at, like, its direct competitor Overwatch, it is cheaper in that game. I guess it's more enticing in Marvel Rivals because, they're Marvel skins.
Yeah, they're like superhero, and the thing is, like, you have so many different outfits to choose from as well, whereas, like, it felt like a lot of, like, the Overwatch skins were just like, oh, it's just Tracer, but, like, in pink.
I mean, usually, if it's just a lazy recolor, it's like $5 to $8. Those are usually pretty damn cheap.
Yeah, there was. I remember seeing a few posts where it was just like, "Oh yeah, this is a legendary skin," and yet it's just a recoloring of like a base skin.
Yeah,
it's like, ooh.
I mean, as a direct comparison though, like a legendary skin that is from like a franchise or something, even in a game like Dead by Daylight, they're only like $10, which is not that much cheaper, but it is cheaper. But right now, I'm just trying. My point of view is I think people need to kind of calm down. I'm sure it is basically, from what I hear, it's a really fun game and it does a lot of things better than Overwatch. At the exact same time, it's like, whenever a game like this comes out, like I remember, again, I know I talk about Dead by Daylight too much, but it's the best comparison I have. When the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game came out, that is all the Dead by Daylight community talked about for days and days, weeks and weeks, being like, this is a better Dead by Daylight, this is going to steal a big portion of the player base, what the Dead by Daylight devs can learn from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. And that game is dead, and nobody's playing it.
I mean, yeah, there are games like that, like examples of that, where it's like, oh, these are direct, competitors to the big thing or whatever. It's like, X-Defiant or whatever was supposed to be the Call of Duty killer.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work out as well.
Now, I should preface this by saying I don't think that's what's going to happen with Marvel Rivals at all. It all depends on how things go, how their community support, and how certain updates affect the game. Is there ever going to be an esports scene, and how are they going to separate you know, casual versus pro player lobbies? I guess
Like hardcore players, basically, like the guys that want to get really sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. And I look at like Marvel Rivals and Overwatch 2 kind of like similar to things to like, Fortnite and Apex Legends or whatever in a way. It's like they both exist and have their, their fan base and everything like that. And I think that's as good a comparison as we're going to get.
Yeah. I just feel like a lot of people that are crazy about it now, it's like, well, yeah, you're having fun with it now, but in a week where everybody like min-maxes this shit and, people are getting like super sweaty trying to get all these like multi-kill clips for their Twitch channel or whatever, you're just gonna be sitting there being like, I can't fucking do anything anymore, this sucks. And I'm just waiting to see how things play out is where I'm at, and I need to try it myself. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah
I mean, I think I do also want to say it's off to a fucking fantastic start. It's got, almost 500,000 players. It hasn't experienced any, server issues. Doesn't it have, a crazy amount of characters, too?
Oh, yeah. Doesn't it have, just, a full roster or whatever of just, heroes?
I think so. It's, from what I hear, even Squirrel Girl is a character, which is awesome.
Probably. I haven't looked into the game at all, so I don't really know. But it's that was one thing. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, for as much as I look at these Marvel a lot of these Marvel games just reskins of current games or whatever, and it's you could say, I mean, you can honestly say that Marvel Rivals is basically just Overwatch 2, but reskinned as Marvel or whatever. And I think that's
exactly what that is.
Yeah, and it's not, and you're not wrong, and it's not wrong in that, but it's also but it does it better than what current Overwatch is doing. So it's is that necessarily a bad thing? It depends.
Absolutely not. I mean, in the best case scenario, if this is just if this does end up just being a better version of Overwatch, I think that is going to push Blizzard to make the changes that they should have made probably a long time ago.
And then you really hit my point that I was just about to make. It's now that there is actual competition that that is a legit threat in Marvel Rivals, maybe Blizzard will get off their ass and try and fix all the problems that Overwatch 2 created.
That is a distinct possibility. That's honestly what I'm hoping for too.
I think that's what a lot of people are hoping for at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's just I remember when Marvel Rivals was announced or whatever, and people were thinking it's oh, Overwatch 2 is going to have to go back to its 6v6 format because everyone always loved the 6v6 as opposed to the 5v5. And I go, I mean, I don't really know the difference, but I hear that it's just having that one extra person can make it a bit more chaotic, but at the same time is more helpful than it is than not.
Yeah. I mean, from what I hear, they had an event where people played 6v6, and there are rumors that it's going to turn into a game mode.
I mean, yeah. I wonder why they brought that back right around the time Marvel Rivals came out.
I was about to say, yeah.
I wonder. Look, Blizzard, we understand, but you don't have to make it so obvious.
No.
Oh yeah, and this is a permanent game mode to stay. It's almost like you shouldn't have switched from the normal format. It's almost I mean, I don't know. I think I made this comparison once before, but in a similar way. It's if League of Legends said, "Oh, we're just going to take out one role or whatever." It's you instead of five, it would be 5v5. It's 4v4 or whatever. There's no more supports. Supports are no longer a type thing in the game anymore. Everyone has their own lanes and one jungler. That's it. That's the game.
Absolutely not. The
it's
internet
stupid.
Would go.
It's dumb.
It would go. Fucking ablaze.
They had a small 3v3 format for a while there. I'm sure it's still a thing, but I can't imagine many people play it. No, but it's on a specific map they made where it's 2 lanes and then there's a little jungle in the middle basically, and it's just it's butt. it's bad. It's you just sometimes you just need those extra people or whatever, because it what happens is that sometimes the extra character makes it so if a game is just a complete stomp, then it might not be a complete stomp right away or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like when the whole idea is that when you made Overwatch, the original Overwatch, you balanced it in a game for 6v6. So the idea is that there are 6 roles or 6 characters, each with their different roles and stuff like that. And it's like then you all of a sudden take out one role or one player, and then you just go, they'll figure it out. So there was no thought process into, why taking out one player will make that much of a difference or whatever. You just said, the community will figure it out. Even though you designed all these characters for a 6v6 mode.
I mean, I think at the same time, it was supposed to be for like an esports thing, because I think that's really when Overwatch really wanted to become more of a esport. And correct me if I'm wrong, Overwatch 2 launched at a time where that scene was experiencing a boom of sorts, right? That was like right in the height of like the battle.
I mean, it was the first
popularity.
Yeah, well, was it right? Was it right? It was like 20. Original Overwatch was like 2016, right?
Yeah, that's when the original Overwatch dropped. I'm talking about Overwatch 2 because when Fortnite really hit its peak, and I think it was like mid-COVID, where more and more people were looking at like professional gaming, and that was becoming like more of a thing. Like GameStop was doing trying to do their whole esports thing. Remember the E3 was going to be leaning into esports more. Didn't Overwatch 2 launch around then? So it may have been just like.
Well, I'm reading here is Overwatch 2's like release date was October 2022, like early October.
Overwatch 2?
Yeah.
On Steam, it's saying it was August 2023.
That's when it went onto Steam, yeah.
Okay.
But it launched on the Blizzard client in October.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that we were, everyone was kind of coming out of the pandemic, and we went from, you couldn't really host these big esports events because, you couldn't have that many people in an area or whatever because of, safety regulations and stuff like that. And we had to either do them online or, we'd only have the people up there to do it. And then it would be like there was no live crowd or whatever. And I think it was like a lot of events, a lot of things were trying to get off the ground once again. Like the Overwatch League was trying to get off the ground again and stuff like that. And I think that's why you say that. I'm not necessarily sure if that was the case.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of, what was the logic behind making Overwatch 2. Obviously, it was money.
Yeah.
And
well, that, and I think that they saw. That? Well, I think that, and it was like the original Overwatch was still $20.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And they wanted to make it free to play, so instead of just making Overwatch...
So instead of just making the original Overwatch free to play, they just said, we're just going to make Overwatch 2, add all this stuff. And the thing is, the other part of why to make Overwatch 2 is because they were going to add all the single player content or whatever that was going to be like really fun for people. That totally worked out well.
Very clearly went nowhere.
Yep. And canceled, and then it's just like now and then it was like that from that moment on everyone was just like, all right, so why the hell did you make another game and shut down the old one?
I'm at that point I don't even think they really knew.
Oh, absolutely not. I can tell you right now, it's like if you could go into pick the brain of the people who made that decision, I don't even think they know why. I don't know. So it's just like whether or not Marvel Rivals learns from the mistakes of Overwatch or whatever. It's like maybe the devs watched, Overwatch come from this like really beloved thing and then slowly as like Overwatch 2 came out, just kind of like dip really hard as like, went to 5v5 mode. They kind of stopped listening to the community. It felt like a lot of people kept saying, and it was just like, what are we even doing anymore? What are we doing here?
Either one of two things that are going to happen is the way from what I can tell. Either they did learn their lessons from Blizzard and they are communicating with the community, and they keep this game going in the right direction and ways that everybody likes and approves of. Now now with multiplayer games, that is uniquely difficult to do to make everyone happy. But if it does keep and maintain those players to, pose like a genuine threat to Overwatch, like if Blizzard sees that people are moving from Overwatch to Marvel Rivals, then I think that's going to push Blizzard to make the changes that they need to make. And I think both can have a nice, healthy existence in, the hero shooter genre. The alternative to that is, updates either slow or cease entirely. They pull a Halo Infinite, or they get, greedy and they don't listen to the community and they try to take things more and more competitive, which turns more people off. And and player numbers inevitably decrease, and Blizzard is like, well, we don't need to improve shit. They're not changing. People are just going to come right back to playing Overwatch. So it's kind of like choices in a video game: good ending or a bad ending. We just gotta hope that everyone involved has their heads in the right place. Who is publishing Marvel Rivals?
That's a great question, honestly. I do not know. NetEase.
Oh boy. Really?
Yep.
Okay. What other games has NetEase put out?
I do not know. The thing, and like you were kind of saying as well while you're looking that up, is just like, what are they going to do to incentivize people to keep playing or whatever? It's like we talked like about this like huge roster of just like heroes and villains that they put in here or whatever. It's just like you got to keep it's like you got to keep going, and it looks like they have a few in the works.
Yeah,
but like
in terms
you
of
can't
like,
slow down.
In terms of like retaining players, I don't really think that's going to be a big issue. The idea is to create more battle passes, get more skins, get more characters, get more stages, stuff like that. So there just need to be like consistent updates.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. It was like, okay, so you'll need to get more heroes to keep people interested in the game, to keep people playing.
I was nervous with when you first said NetEase. I think I confused them for someone else. It is a Chinese company, and I don't know if they have, because I like the only game that seems similar to like a live service type model is Naraka Blade Point, and I have absolutely no idea how well like updates with that game went. I paid absolutely no attention to it. That's that game that
yeah, I don't know.
Remember?
I know what the game is. I've just never looked into it.
Yeah, it's that battle royale with melee weapons. It looked okay.
Yeah, it looked interesting, I guess, to an extent.
Oh, they also did Dead by Daylight Mobile. I did not know that. I mean, Dead by Daylight Mobile sucks. That's not a good thing.
Well, how was I supposed to know that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's like
this did not help me learn anything. That fucked me up. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. It's like whether or not it continues to do well, or falls short, or it's just like, oh, this was another like cool thing for a short bit or whatever, I guess. And then now everyone goes back to Overwatch 2.
Yeah, I feel like I've been overly negative while talking about it. Like, I hope it does well is the thing. I want it to do good because, like we were talking about earlier, Overwatch needs that competition because it just does not have it at all.
It's been too complacent for too long. So I say about a lot of those types of games or whatever. It's like you can see like all these games just get too complacent, and the instant something good comes around, they'll copy all the best parts of it, and then they go, oh, why am I playing this other thing? And then it's just like, let's go back to this or whatever. I remember that was like the thing with like or Apex when it first came out. It was like everyone was all about it because like the movement and everything about that, and like the respawn system and everything like that was completely new and everything like that. And then every battle royale just took that, and then they went, well, let's go back to Fortnite because Fortnite has all this stuff now. It's like, great.
And speaking of games that need more competition, Fortnite.
Dude. The thing about that, though, is, like, it's going to be a while. I feel like it's going to be a while before, like, there's another major craving for, like, Battle Royales, right? Like, unless, like, something really good comes out, like, I can't imagine everyone just going, like, oh, let's just release more Battle Royales. Not saying that doesn't happen, but, like, I feel like that craze kind of passed.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like, I feel like right now it's like we're in the Soulsborne era, basically. Ever since like Elden Ring came out, it's just like everything is a Soulsborne game, and I'm just like, oh my god.
I mean, we've had that craze before, too.
I know, but it seems like it's worse now than ever before.
I actually am not sure if I can agree with that.
I don't know if it is or not, but maybe it's because I'm paying more attention to it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm paying more attention to it. I don't know.
Like the early mid 2010s, it was horrible.
True, because I do feel like that would have been the time when like Soulsbornes were a major thing then.
At least a lot of the Soulsborne games that are coming out now are actually decent copies.
That's true. Maybe it's just coming back around, like, maybe this is like the second surging or whatever, and they go, oh, we realized what we were doing wrong the first time, so here we're gonna get it right this time.
I think that's ultimately what's happening. Like, I don't think it's gonna last for long. I do absolutely think it is just a, trying to ride the hype of Elden Ring kind of a thing. But in terms of Battle Royales, I'm really not sure if that one's ever going to come back. It's like trying to create a battle.
I'm sure it'll come back at some point, but it just will probably be a while.
I'm not so sure because it's the 100-player count that's really fucking me up. I think that's the big thing that is going to scare away of a lot of potential like developers and publishers and stuff like that, because trying to create a game that can compete with the the few battle royales that are already out there, like Fortnite. I think Warzone is still around. Apex Legends. It is going to take a big commitment, and I don't know, man. In terms of this, like trying to dethrone like something that big, like Fortnite, you kind of need a certain edge. The only reason I think like Marvel Rivals is even like serving as some good competitor to Overwatch is because not only is it free, but it's Marvel. It instantly has characters that people like, are interested in, and they're gonna download it just because of that.
It's true.
Not too long ago, we just had a hero shooter with Concord, and look how that one went. Obviously, that game had other issues, but
not wrong. I don't know. Like when I say it's like, I think it's going to take like something like some new creative thing that would have to happen that would push it forward. I don't even know what that'd be, but like,
in like the Battle Royale space.
Yeah, and I feel like that's hard because I feel like everyone that's tried everything at this point, but it's like it could be something like really obvious, and we're just like no one just sees it, and then like someone's gonna come up with an idea, or someone's just gonna come up with like a crazy idea, and it's just gonna work. Type thing. Who knows? But like, it's not. I don't think it's that far. I think it'd be too short-sighted to think that nothing's ever gonna dethrone Fortnite ever. Like it's just like I think that's too short-sighted of thinking.
I can't agree with that. The problem is that we have seen like instances of games that are just on the top and are inevitably just going to stay on the top before. Like
okay,
obviously we had like League of Legends. Like I'm sure like MOBAs are going to come back at some point. I'm not sure if anything's ever going to be able to dethrone League of Legends. Like, obviously, we've had plenty of, I can't remember the name of the genre, but Dead by Daylights before. I don't really think any of them are ever going to dethrone that game. It's like, these things always come in waves, but if we really want to challenge, like, the big, like, established multiplayer game, you really need to bring something crazy to the table, which is why Marvel Rivals is causing such a shakeup, I think. Because it is challenging that status quo. But in terms of, like, dethroning, like, the ultimate, top tier game, I think that's going to be... I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's quite the daunting task.
Yeah.
You know where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but and yeah. We might not even see it for, like, a long-ass time, but it's like...
I'm not going to say it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, that would be silly.
Yeah, and that's more what I was getting at. It's like, yeah, we might not see it for a very long time, or maybe when all of a sudden, people just stop playing Fortnite or whatever, or stop playing... whatever, and then they move on to something else or whatever. Mm. It's like, who knows? I like here, it's like, apparently already they're leaking stuff for the Game Awards later this week for, like, what reveals are. Apparently Borderlands 4 trailer is going to be happening during that time.
That's good. I heard people's hopes seem pretty high for Borderlands 4, so that's, always good. Are you excited for that game?
It's Borderlands. I'll play with my brother, probably.
What other leaks have been coming out?
I don't know. It was just Randy Pitchford talking about how there's going to be a Borderlands 4 trailer. That's it. that's literally it.
Okay.
It's just like, oh yeah, keep your eye out in the Game Awards for Borderlands 4 trailer.
I mean, I'm down for more Borderlands. Why not?
Might as well. Get the movie out of our brains.
Yeah.
No, I really do hope that I was like. 3 was rough at start or whatever, but it redeemed itself later on or whatever. I just want one of these games to not, just be good right off the bat and then, only get better.
Mm-hmm.
It's generally how it should go. And maybe just try and, like, actually support it this time, because, like, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was great, and I wish they would have actually made, like, DLC in support of that or expansions or whatever.
I mean, to their... to be completely fair, these are always meant to be just, single player, story games.
But
you're right.
Mm-hmm. But my only point is, I'm not saying we need to treat this we need to treat them as live service or whatever. But if you say that there's going to be a season pass and then just
then just don't do shit.
Well, yeah. And then you do Tiny Tina's Wonderlands where it's basically just like, oh, go fight this boss 4 times or whatever, and then here's a few new guns. And that's the whole season. That's the whole season's pass or whatever. That's the whole expansion pass.
Tiny Tina has pissed me off because I feel like that game had the opportunity to do so much cool shit that they just didn't do.
I agree, because the idea of replacing the grenade slot with like spells or something like that was a great idea to kind of shake up the type of gameplay or whatever. They literally made classes that's like you could equip 2 spells or whatever, and it's just like, or you could have certain things kind of go along with this, like certain or whatever. And I thought it changed the gameplay in different ways, and it was a nice shake up to kind of like an FPS that was kind of feeling a bit stale at times.
Yeah.
Because I went from like Borderlands 3 to Tiny Tina's Wonderland or whatever, and my favorite class in Borderlands 3 was Moze, and Moze's whole thing was that you throw explosions, so you just like are constantly throwing grenades because you just regenerate grenades, and you get like health regen from shit exploding. So it was fun, but it was just like at some point you're just like, can I just turn on like auto grenade, like in battle? My God, my Moze just keeps throwing grenades.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but they needed to do more stuff like that or whatever. Even in Borderlands 3, like they had like what was his name? Zane, I think it was, or whatever. He was like the Handsome Jack body double or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could actually sacrifice your grenade slot for an extra action skill slot, so you could have two. So you could have two abilities, and it was pretty cool.
Okay.
So it's not like they don't have creative ideas or whatever to kind of shake things up, and it's like that's why it was like I'm excited because like especially because I don't think Gearbox is with what's the was it Tencent?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that's what it was. Now that I don't think they're with them anymore. Is Gearbox still owned by them? I don't even know. I thought they were selling Gearbox.
I hope the story's better in this next entry because from what I hear, a lot of the complaints was with Borderlands 3 was that they didn't like the villains or whatever. They thought they sucked.
Yes and no.
I mean, I was more than okay with them because at that point I think maybe I'm in the minority here, but I really wanted to Overwatch Borderlands to get away from Handsome Jack.
Yeah,
like he was a good villain, but he was around.
Part, yeah,
but he was around for way longer than he overstayed his welcome.
The thing is like it's so for people to let go of certain villains or whatever, or just like certain characters that left such an impression, it's hard to move away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have like, a truly iconic character like Handsome Jack or whatever, like he was funny, he was interesting, and everything like that, and I thought his character was really fleshed out and really done well. Yeah. And then you move to villains that are kind of just villains for the sake of being villains. There's not really a reason for why they're doing the things they're doing or whatever.
They feel more like villains of the week or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, oh, you're just here, whatever, fine, type thing. And it's like, sure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they were great. I didn't think they were terrible. But
so I'm just hoping they can create like another, another villain or another bad guy that leaves as big of an impression as Handsome Jack does.
Well, and also I think the thing is that it felt like at times they were trying to copy Handsome Jack, where they would just randomly like, call you or whatever, and it's like, hey, you're still alive type thing, I see. And I'm just like, oh my god, shut the hell up unless you're going to have a diamond-crusted horse, talk to me, like, whinny at me and call her Butt Stallion. And that was, I don't know, that was something I've kind of thought with Borderlands 3. At times, like, there were some good jokes or whatever from here to there, but it was like, for the most part, it's like, a lot of the jokes kind of just fell flat.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, sometimes you just catch that spark in a bottle or whatever, and you just try and recapture it, whatever, close enough. And it's just like, and you just try and capture that again or whatever, and it's just like, you just can't quite do it because it's really hard to do that.
I mean, I hope Borderlands 4 can pull it off though.
Yeah, as long as it's pretty good and decent, I think that's fine. That's really all it needs. Also, when was the last, when did Tiny Tina's even come out? Was that,
I think that was... No, I think it was after that. Let's take a look. When was Tiny Tina's? $2022.
It was 22. And then Borderlands 3 was,
Wasn't Wonderlands after Borderlands 3, though?
It was.
2020.
2020. That's right. I remember it was right in the middle of COVID. Yep. Yeah, so it's been a couple of years, but it seems like that's pretty par for the course. Every couple of years or so, you get a game or whatever. I just think it's because it's been a bit longer of for mainstay or whatever.
Man, I think another reason people didn't really quite vibe with the villains for Borderlands 3. Weren't there people that didn't like that they were basically social media influencers?
I mean, yes, that's pretty much what they were. Like they would live stream all their things to the Echo Net.
I have to imagine like Gearbox looked at, what was going on in the industry and being like, oh, stream is like a big thing. Let's make our next villain streamers. That'll be great.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was never like it was like, oh, it was a way to build their cults or whatever. And it's like, but
yeah,
hey, why? You're on Pandora, man. You don't need that. It was just like it felt like a stupid way to like recruit followers or something like that. And I'm just like, no, it's just Pandora is just a fucking crazy, stupid place where like a bunch of just psychos just live, and it's just like their life. You don't need a rhyme or reason.
So let me ask you this, though. Let's say that they do bring those villains back.
Well, they died, back. So...
Oh. I won't know. I haven't played Borderlands 3 yet, despite owning the deluxe edition on Xbox, because I make good purchases, and I totally don't waste a bunch of money.
Says the guy who also bought Godfall.
I mean, yeah, I'm preaching to the choir here. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, I was just at... This is a weird tangent. I was just at Costco not too long ago. The game that they were showing off on the TVs was Godfall.
What the fuck? Why?
I guess because it's pretty. Wasn't it like a big thing for like next gen?
I mean, yeah, it seemed like it was pretty decent, but I was like, I don't know. I guess like the armor looked cool and everything like that, and some of the weapons looked pretty cool. But other than that, I was like, I don't know, fine.
I don't know. I just was walking through that and I saw like Godfall playing, and I was like, oh, that's fun. That's cute. Anyway,
the decisions that I swear that it's like, what's going to be the best thing that shows off the thing? I don't know, Godfall. What the hell even is that? Oh, great, no one will know what it is. Then it's perfect. Mm-hmm. Man.
I was gonna say, what if they do like a pre-sequel type of thing and try to expand more on the villains of the previous game? But okay, I didn't know they were dead. That's on me.
Yeah, I was like, they died at the end of the game, along with Lilith sacrificed herself to make sure that Pandora didn't get destroyed.
That's neat.
And I was just like, okay.
I mean, didn't Handsome Jack die in Borderlands 2, though, too?
Well, yeah, he did, yes.
So they could still technically do that. Like, what if in the next game, like, the main two villains of Borderlands 3, like, is the prequel to Borderlands 3, and they're two of the playable characters that you can play as?
I mean, sure, go for it. I don't. It sounds like it could be decent. It could be interesting. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't really necessarily play it for the story. It's more just like for the gameplay.
I know. I just remember that's when Borderlands 3 came out, that was one of the main things that everybody was complaining about. It was the the cringe dialogue and the bad villains.
It was that, and I mean, yeah, some of the dialogue was cringe. I will admit to that. Yeah. But the other part of it was that like a lot of the characters they introduced just weren't that. Or whatever, and like they brought in like some of the characters from Borderlands 2, and what was it, like Maya and not Salvador, Axton, the commando guy with the turret, or whatever. So, and it was just like Maya died in a very dumb way, and then Axton just kind of was a pervert.
It was hard, though, because Borderlands 2 had such great character designs, too. Like, that game was just so peak in terms of the, just not even, like, the villain or, like, playable characters.
Like the gameplay itself was like super good or whatever. Each of the characters, like the Siren still felt the strongest, but like it was fun to be the Gunzerker and literally just pull out a second gun and just go and just start blasting everything. It was great. I remember there was like an achievement to like, oh, Gunzerk for like 30 seconds or whatever, and you have like an ability where it's like every enemy you kill increases your like Gunzerking duration by like a few seconds with diminishing returns or whatever. And so like, I just remember there was like this one like village or whatever you like walk into or whatever, and it's just like, oh, if you do this right, it's easy to get this achievement from this. And it's just like, yeah, you could easily Gunzerk for like a minute and a half.
Jeez, that's awesome.
Yeah, because there was just so many enemies in that little spot. It was like that, and there was like so many lines from Borderlands 2 that were just so good or whatever. It's like you walk into a new area, and all of a sudden you hear, "We got a badass over here." Stuff like that. It's like we were saying, lightning in a bottle. It's hard to catch again.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do it though.
Speaking of stuff that we might see in the Game Awards, what other games are you hoping to see, if any?
Hollow Knight Silksong, Kingdom Hearts 4.
Okay.
Both probably not happening, but I can hold out hope.
No. Neither of those are going to show up. Those are both going to be absent. Maybe Kingdom Hearts, but I
mean, we're going to see a GTA 6 trailer, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's almost no goddamn way we don't.
We're absolutely getting another GTA 6 trailer.
Was it the Game Awards last year? We saw the first trailer. We saw like the announcement of GTA. Am I making that up, or was that like a week or like a few days before? Like I swear to God, it was like around this time this year. Game Awards? I don't know if it was the Game Awards or it was a few days before or after or something like that. I thought that was like.
I think it was last year. I think you're right about that.
I think it was like a last year around this time. I don't think it was. I'm not sure if it was the Game Awards or if it was like a couple days before or after. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Let me look it up. GTA 6 trailer.
Something I'm hoping.
Yes, December 4th, 2023. Oh. Literally just over a year. Oy. Do you still think we're going to get that 2025 release date?
For GTA 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be holiday season next year.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel maybe they push it off a little bit, but I think... So, it's going to make fuck tons of money.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what's going to happen. It's very easily going to come out. I think if they were confident enough to say it is coming out next year, I think they're going to make next year.
If
Rockstar is pretty reliable in that sense.
If there is a trailer during the Game Awards, which I think is highly likely, and they have a legit release date, then it's probably happening. Like even if it's just a month. Or whatever, like November 2025. I think then it probably will happen.
I do think, like this may be obvious. I think to a lot of people, I don't think it's going to launch with a GTA Online equivalent. I think GTA 6.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it may have. It's gonna have co-op, obviously.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
In terms of like online, like that open world multiplayer thing they have for GTA 5, I actually do not think it's going to launch with that. I think we're going to see that maybe a year later. I think that is something that they're still working on refining.
I mean, I could see that.
I mean, there is a scenario in which it does just launch with all the GTA, 5 enhancements or whatever. It launches with, online first-person mode, all this other fun shit. At the same time, I think Rockstar knows it doesn't need to do that, and it can experience like another like explosion in sales or whatever if they put off the online multiplayer mode.
That's true. I guess if they want people to play the single player game, especially too. Okay. I don't know if it necessarily be a year. Might be like 6 months if I had to guess, but like
maybe a few months to a year. Like
yeah, like anywhere from like 3 to 6 months to maybe upwards to a year if they need that time for the development time.
Mm-hmm. In either case, like if it is going to launch with like here's what I'm thinking when it comes to multiplayer, right? They are going to want to do a beta test of some sort.
Probably, I guess.
And I don't think that they want to just keep it like an in-house beta test. And I really cannot see them wanting people to play GTA 6 before its initial release date. Maybe that's just me being weird about it. It's like with Red Dead 2, that game also didn't launch with its online mode. That came, like you said, a few months afterwards, so it may just be like, 4 or 6 months. But I think they're going to wait for the game to launch that holiday. Then maybe in like March or something, they announce a beta for multiplayer, and GTA Online 2 or whatever they end up calling it is probably going to launch the following summer. That is... If it doesn't launch with multiplayer, that's what I think they're going to do.
Okay.
I've done a lot of ranting this episode. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
You do think they're gonna launch with GTA Online though?
I think that there's a possibility that happens.
Okay.
But you bring up great points where it's just like. Where it's just like, oh, you like if they do launch, the multiplayer at the same time, it's like people kind of just do what they do with like Call of Duty, where they'll just like ignore the single player and then just go straight to the multiplayer. And I think that's what they want to avoid.
No, I actually disagree. I think
there will be people that doesn't mean that everyone will.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are excited for the single player campaign. There are tons of people. But you'll always have those people that will just like, I just want to go fuck around in GTA Online or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess especially with like GTA 5, online's still up. It's like, why would they just put out there? Yeah, I'm leaning more toward what you were saying, where it's probably going to be a bit before that launches anyway.
I could see like on release if they want to have like, if they do just want to straight away start their beta test or beta testing or something, whatever for GTA Online 2 or I don't even know what they're... We'll find out at Game Awards. It's going to be there.
I would just assume it would be just called GTA Online or whatever. Like, yeah. I'll be interested to see if like you could just like transfer over like your character from GTA 5 to GTA 6.
That is going to be an issue.
That will be interesting because if they don't allow that and people will be like, why did I spend all this money on GTA 5 or whatever? Especially no, it's fine. And they might just say, well, you could still go back and play the old GTA 5 online or whatever and stuff like that and play all that or whatever. But if all of a sudden they go, well, we're gonna open up GTA 6 and we're also shutting down 5s, and you go, ooh, hey. It's like you better. I hope that there's plans to like let you kind of transfer over your character or like all your money and stuff like that you've gotten over the time.
If they are just going to do GTA, if they're just going to call it GTA Online, it's going to replace the existing GTA Online. I hope that they do have a plan for that because that could be a really terrible PR move.
Yeah, like, obviously that could be an issue.
Still going to play it, but people are going to fucking be over the moon about that. They're going to be really mad.
Well, I can already see like people who just like spent just a ridiculous amount of time and money and stuff like that in GTA Online, and then go, yeah, I wasn't able to bring that over to GTA 6, so I'm just going to stick with 5.
I mean, a lot of stuff too. That's the reason I think they may just keep 5s open is because not even considering money. Like, let's talk about like time that people put into like making those unique racetracks and game modes and arenas and stuff. It's like people are going to be kind of pissed, if the GTA Online for GTA 5 just gets erased and all that hard work they did is just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be one of two things. They're either going to have a plan to let you transfer it over, or maybe just like GTA Online will just incorporate and like get a major overhaul, basically incorporating 6 stuff, so you can keep keep all the stuff you did with GTA 5, and then just add in new stuff for GTA 6. Or it'll be like, well, we don't really know how we're going to do that with everybody's account and stuff like that. So, sorry, but we'll still keep the GTA 5 the things up so you can go back and play it or whatever if you want to.
That's kind of what I think they're going to do. They're just going to create an online...
I'd have to believe it's one of those two things.
Yeah, they're just going to create an online for GTA 6, and then just be like, yeah, we'll still keep some servers up for GTA 5 online, but the updates for that are just gone. They're never going to come back. We're going to focus on this multiplayer.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best PR thing for them to do, anyway.
Yeah, they could just say, okay, yeah, we'll keep it up or whatever, but don't expect any updates type thing. Just, we're going to focus on this.
You think they're going to make it free to play?
Now that is a question, ain't it? Now that is a question.
So is GTA 5 Online free to play? I don't think it is.
No, I think you have to have the game.
Yeah.
Because like, are we looking this as kind of like a Halo Infinite type thing, or like?
That's what I'm thinking. It's like
are they going to have like two instances where one's the single player and then one's like the multiplayer? Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to be well.
Well, it depends if the multiplayer is free, or if it's like no, you need to also have the game. And then here's the second point: do we think we need to pay extra to get the multiplayer?
Ooh.
Now that is another question right there.
Like, do you think they're going to
imagine the game is just $70, and that's just for the single player game. Now imagine you needed to pay an extra $30 to have access to the online game, and so all of a sudden it's now a $100 game.
I hate that, and they can get away with that too. I hate that.
And I can see here's the ultra super double deluxe whatever thingy mabobber ultimate edition type thing, whatever it'll be called or whatever. And then you also get one of the fucking premium shark card thingies for it too.
Why did you have to put that fucking idea in my head? I don't want to think about
that. Why else do you think they're going to be like, oh, it'll be like $100 game. That'll be the base whatever for it.
Are people still saying that?
Probably.
God. I don't want them to do that.
I mean, literally, Rockstar has talked about how it's just like they think that the value of the game should be $100. And at this point, you have the biggest, most hyped game since like Cyberpunk, basically, and it's way higher than that. And more people are ready to believe that you will deliver over CD Projekt Red at this point. That it will be good right off the bat. So it's just like, and you have such a good track record or whatever of it, putting out quality games. You could. It's like it's been a long time. It's been a lot of years and stuff like that. We've put everything we've got into it type thing. Like, not saying that if this fails, which it won't fail, but if it somehow miraculously failed, basically, like the point 0.0000001% chance that this fails, like, do I think Rockstar would go under? Fuck no. But it's like, would they take massive hit because of it? Absolutely. But again, it's not gonna fail because it's GTA. And this is why it's a rare, super rare exception to the rule that is like kind of how AAA games has run for this so long, is that this is the price for a AAA game or whatever. It's like $60. It's only recently gone up to $70. And it's just like, depending on whatever they want to sell this for, like I said, it could just be the single player for $70, extra $20 to $30 for the online, like full access to the online services. Who knows? Any other expansions they have planned for. I don't know if they really do expansions for the single player, for it'll just be like for the multiplayer, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna.
I don't think they would do anything for the single player. I feel like it just go to all the multiplayer anyway at that point.
Yeah. No, I think we talked about this on this podcast before too. It's like the hope would be that the industry understands like this. This is the exception.
This is the
GTA.
hyper rare, super, like, only time that I think anyone would ever get away with something like this.
Like GTA can get away with this. I'm not sure if that's the case though, and
we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say is we will find out.
Man, it's gonna be an interesting next couple of years.
It really is. Because it's just like, is GTA gonna fuck everything up, or is it gonna be like, oh, like you said, it's like, oh, publishers realize, look, they're GTA, they're Rockstar, they can they have the ability to do what they want type thing. We don't got that ability.
I mean, you gotta look at it from the perspective of some. These publishers, though, they're like, okay, they're justifying the price because they think their game is super quality. Well, I think my game is really quality, so why can't we just charge that much? And either
I mean, that is a move that you have to like, and like you said, it's like, yes, if they feel it's worth it. And the thing is I feel like for most of the time, publishers and developers feel like their game is the best thing ever. But when it comes out to the public might not think so, type thing.
Let me phrase this question this way. Let's say next God of War Egypt comes out, and they say, yeah, we think our game is hot shit, so we're charging $100 for it. How do you think that it would go?
I think that they would definitely, some would, like, sales would suffer. I don't think it would do nearly as good as they think it would do. And it would be an experiment that I think that would be like, I don't even know, man. It's like, it's a move that will either, people will just kind of go, it's like, well, yeah, you're right, it is really good type thing. So it's like, I think it might be worth it. But when people today are justifying in their head, is $70 worth it for a game? I couldn't imagine just charging any base game, like any like other like AAA game for like that or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, I agree with you. So do you think that sales would be lower enough for Sony to see that and think? So. To see that and think like, oh, it's not worth it to do this. We're not going to do this again. Drop the price right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
100%. If they see a steep decline on sales for what their expectations was, or even for just God of War Ragnarok, at that point, using God of War as an example, it's like they will go, okay, this is a bad idea. Drop the price right now, and then they might see a resurgence again. It's like, not saying it wouldn't sell, it just they wouldn't sell nearly as much. I think when people are, it's like I said, it's like people are justifying it or whatever. It's like. It's why, and going back again, it's like, this is why Rockstar, if they are legitimately charging the 100 or whatever, or the 70 for the single player, 30 for the multiplayer or whatever type thing, if that is something they decide to do, it is because they think that the average player, the average person playing this game, will play it enough to like find it worth it, to be like, worth that. Basically, it's like, I myself, most AAA games will wait till they go on sale because I don't find a $67 price tag worth it, because I know I probably won't play it for that much or get that much enjoyment out of it. Now, if I saw it on sale for like $40, depending on what game it was, yeah, I'd consider it.
Mm.
So it's like, to each their own. If people think that if people think that they will get $100 worth of fun and entertainment out of GTA, then they have every right to do that. But that comes down to, does Rockstar think that? And it's like, I would bet you they probably do, considering that they have all the numbers with GTA Online currently as of this moment. And it's like, and they can just look at that as an exact reference. Now, if they had nothing to reference this off of, and they just decided that, let's just say this was the first GTA game ever announced, ever launched, or whatever. There was no precedent, no nothing, for it. And there was no other game like it prior to this or whatever. Let's just, in this hypothetical scenario, okay. and they said, we're going to charge $100 for this or whatever. I think a majority of people would look at this going like, they're fucking nuts.
Absolutely not. No way.
But because they have that precedent set of and the expectation of what they understand GTA will be, they can justify that price if they so desire.
Yeah. It doesn't help that everybody, including us, is just, whenever they say, "Oh yeah, we may charge $100 for it," and everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, you can do that. You're GTA. Go ahead. It's fine."
Well, it's because they have the precedent, right? Though.
Yeah. No. So what you said, everything that you said is completely true. Because they have that precedent. Because the games they release have been so quality, and because they've done so well financially, absolutely they know that they can, get away with it, I guess, is the
we as the gaming public will allow it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if we all of a sudden saw like AC Shadows doing the same thing or whatever, would we say the same thing? No, we would just say it's greedy.
AC Shadows has its own problems, but
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
They don't need to throw the extra price tag on that. Even though Ubisoft definitely will, if they, with their extra just deluxe editions and whatnot.
Hey, we're gonna go ahead and charge $140 for this game. 2 protagonists, twice the price.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, no one would buy that game if they even tried doing that.
No,
dude, can you imagine?
Yeah, I think that would be the biggest flop of the year at that point. Like, it wouldn't even be questioned in my mind unless all of a sudden Sony decided, well, yeah, we're gonna re-release Concord. Why?
Sure, this can dethrone Marvel rivals. Why not?
Yeah, let's go for it, baby. Next Star Wars, here we come.
God, what the fuck were they thinking?
I don't know.
I am never gonna let that go.
Oh, I don't think anyone will. I don't think anyone's going to let them.
Absolute dog shit play with them.
I do, just a quick sidebar, just about Concord real fast though. It's not necessarily about Concord, but it's just like, but what an impact that will probably leave on Sony when it comes to new IPs or whatever and stuff like that, and how they're going to treat new IPs for the the next so on basically.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a detriment. It's like, oh, we took a chance on Concord or whatever to be really good, and it flopped. Why should we greenlight this new IP or whatever for whatever reason or whatever? It's just like, because we think it's good. It's like, no, make us Marvel Spider-Man 4. Go make Last of Us 4. Go make quick. Have we remastered Last of Us Part 3 yet? We haven't even put it out. Greenlight the remaster anyway.
For fuck's sake. In terms of just like multiplayer shit with Sony. I was on the discussion forum about where people were talking about, Indiana Jones and how Xbox is trying to do more stuff with just like single player, story driven games, and it's like, I mean, yeah, that may be going well for Microsoft, but Sony's doing just as well with their multiplayer games, and I'm like, how the fuck do you figure that? Like, aside from Helldivers, which they did not develop, they published that game.
Yeah, they did not develop that.
What else do they have? They have Destruction All Stars, they have Foam Stars, and they have Concord, and they have
Stars
the last.
That's dead now, isn't it dead?
I'm sure. I think Destruction All Stars is also dead. If it's not dead, it should be. Then what the fuck else? They had Last of Us Factions, which people were just going on and on about, being like, oh, it's going to be the best shit ever. Like, this is going to be one of the best multiplayer games in the market. And then it got canceled, and nobody ever played it. And now, whatever they have with Bungie, Marathon, if that's still a thing, is just in development hell. They don't even know what genre of video game it's going to be anymore. It's like,
yeah,
I have to imagine that Sony's very much reconsidering their life service plans right now, just thinking, yeah, let's just go back to making, single player games,
Yeah.
Oh man, they still have to launch that fucking Horizon MMO. That thing is going to tank.
Yeah.
I almost feel bad. But then I remember it's Sony, and they sold like 8 billion PS5s. They're doing just fine.
It's so interesting, even the MMORPG scene or whatever. It's like Blizzard's basically using WoW Classic to basically just oh hey, everyone remember WoW Classic? Yeah, let's also do all the expansions for that as they came out. And it's just are people who played old WoW and stuff like that, they're not kids anymore. They're now adults. It's they're not gonna want to do it again. And if you think that these kids today are playing MMORPGs, especially WoW, I don't know who you are. But I was just there's no way that's got to be a thing, right?
Right. Aside from Final Fantasy XIV, is there anything big in the MMO scene aside from WoW though?
Not that I can think of. It's maybe is Guild Wars 2 even still going?
I think that Guild Wars 2 is still going. I think it got an expansion at some point this year too.
Yeah, they are still going.
I guess, Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, but these obviously Final Fantasy 14, but I don't think there's a big
the MMO scene kind of feels like it's just died off. It was just I think gone are the times where it's just I feel like people would sit and put gratuitous amounts of hours, consume their life with this thing. And now Blizzard's just oh, go ahead and do that again. I'm nobody's gonna do that. Even if you put out the old stuff, it's nobody. I can't imagine a lot of people want to go back and just go, well, yeah, I was there 20 odd years ago or whatever. Let's just do it all again.
Isn't Blizzard working on a new MMO, or am I going crazy? Is that not a thing?
I mean, it was I recently heard that they were going to do they're just going to have 3 instances of WoW going at one time. They have WoW as it currently is or whatever, the most current up to date one. Then you have WoW Classic wherever that is, and then they're going to restart WoW Classic again.
I heard that they were coming up with something completely different though.
I mean, maybe.
Let me quick look that up. Like, obviously, the fucking... I don't even know what Sony's trying to do with the fucking Horizon MMO. Like, how do you even do that? Like an MMO that you can play on PS5? Why would anyone want to play an MMO on console? I'm not gonna be that guy. Let's see.
Great question, though.
Blizzard is working on a new MMO called Ghost, which is being developed by a studio made up of veterans from Blizzard and Riot.
And Riot?
Yeah, I guess so.
What? Okay. I don't know. I just can't imagine there's like people just clamoring at the bits to play MMOs today, though.
No. Oh, yeah, it was called Odyssey, and it was canceled. Okay. Yeah, I remember reading about this, though. It was supposed to be a survival MMO like Rust, apparently. So Ghost is something else that's being made by a completely new team of people. That's probably going to fail, too. I'm not trying to be that guy, but people are... it's like you said, people are not clamoring to play MMOs right now. Like, that's just not happening.
People are already feeling like, you know, crunch for time or whatever, and it's like... I just can't imagine there's a ton of people that want to play MMOs. I've never been a person to play an MMO. Like every time I've tried to play one, I fucking hated it. I don't know what it is. I just fucking hated it. And it's just like I can't imagine there's like just like saying, "Oh yeah, let me sit down for 12 to 14 hours while I grind out, you know, a raid or something like that on WoW Classic anymore." It's like, nah.
I played one MMO when I was a kid. Well, that's not true. I played two of them. Those were okay. One of them was Guild Wars 2. I didn't play a lot of that one. I was in high school by that point, and I went to college a few months afterwards. So I didn't play much of it. I played a little bit with my brother. The other one was Wizard 101. I was one of those kids.
Look, everyone tried it eventually at some point, right?
Yeah, I played Wizard 101 for a few years, and then I think it was either Minecraft or Halo Reach came out, and I was bored with the game because it was so grindy. So I was like, I'm just gonna play one of these other games. They're more interesting. I think interest just kind of waned.
Yep. I had friends try to get me into WoW many times in the past or whatever. Had college friend trying to convince me to play Guild Wars 2 with him, and I was just like, can't do it.
I mean, has your brother ever tried convincing you to play Destiny 2?
I tried a while back or whatever. I tried a little bit when it went free to play or whatever, and I was just like, I just have no interest, and it's just like, I don't think he really has that much of interest either.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the game's dead now, so there's that.
Yeah, that was years ago. That was like during like the pandemic time or whatever. It was just it was like just before. Well, and I think the problem was it was just like just before Borderlands 3 came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, oh, we were playing something, and then it's like, oh, Borderlands 3's out. Wow, let's go play that now. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I guess RuneScape would be one I played. But that was when I just played for summer, I guess.
People talk about RuneScape all the time. I've never played it personally.
Old school RuneScape. If you were a kid, if you were 8 to 10-year-old kid, in the and you only played during the summer, because I only played during the summer when I was a kid, because it was just like I would go to my babysitter with like four or five other guys or whatever, and we always go from like, we'd always go, all right, we played at the babysitter's house. Then we would go up to the library, saying we were going to go to the swimming pool later after that, because our library is right next to the swimming pool. So go up to the library. We were old enough that we could go ahead, and she wouldn't worry about it or whatever. So we went up there. We got our library cards out just so we could sign into the library computers for an hour, so we could play RuneScape until they got up to the pool, and then we jumped in the pool, and then we went back out, and then we got back out, went to the library, played for another hour.
Oh, jeez.
And then went home. I remember logging on to those old AOL instant messengers or whatever, so we could hang out playing RuneScape.
Kids today will never understand.
Back with the DSL modems or whatever, so I would have
yeah, dude.
I would have to convince my parents to let me get on the computer. And it was just like all right, you have 1 hour to play or whatever, and after that, you have to get off. And I'm just like, fuck yeah. Oh man, this is good times.
Yeah,
I can't imagine playing that now. Some kind of masochist, I swear. But, to each their own, I guess. Anyways, we're at an hour 20. What the hell?
yeah.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. We talked about Overwatch and fucking Borderlands for quite a while. I think I took up most of the time.
It's true, we did. It was good, though.
Yeah.
Thursday is the Game Awards, so I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll be basically the holidays, so we'll definitely be taking off for Christmas Eve and probably New Year's. Maybe New Year's. I don't know. Are you going to be around New Year's?
I'll be around, yeah.
Dude, we could do we could stream into the new year. Or not stream. We could podcast into the new year if we wanted to.
Oh, sure, that'd be fun if you want to do that.
I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want to do it. I don't want to start a podcast at 11 o'clock and go, hey, it's 2025.
We try to end the episode at New Year's.
We just do the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's just like, wait, people are listening to this a week later.
It'd be funny, though. It'd be funny.
It would be. We'll talk about it,
Yeah.
But until then, thank y'all so much for listening to another episode of It Never Ends. And be sure to follow myself, co-host Alex, over there at wherever the links are below the video or in the show description or anything like that. So, and we will all see y'all next time as we talk Game Awards and probably talking about how Elden Ring and everything else won Game of the Year and everything else, but maybe not. Bye.